Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about limp wristing. I recently posted a video of a G19 with NibX finish having some malfunction problems. A lot of you guys commented that you thought that the problems were related to limp wristing. So I want to talk about what limp wristing is, how it might occur, what handguns it might occur with. To that end, I've brought out 3 different handguns. I have a Sig Sauer P226, which has an aluminum frame. I have a CZ75 with a steel frame. And then this is the NibX Glock 19 with a polymer frame. So let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about limp wristing. So let's start off talking about what limp wristing is. First of all, I want to address the issue. Some folks out there still believe that a Glock cannot be limp wristed or that a handgun cannot be limp wristed. They think that it's a total fallacy, that it never happens, that it's something else that causes the malfunction. First of all, I want to show you that limp wristing is something that really does happen, and it happens to a lot of people. It can happen to people that are very experienced with handguns. The first time they shoot a Glock, they might have limp wrist malfunctions. And I've also seen it happen with inexperienced shooters or female shooters the first time they fire a Glock. Let me show you how it works or how it happens. This is the NibX Glock 19. I'm going to fire 10 rounds out of this handgun. First of all, just to show you that it works, it's not malfunctioning right now. Locks open. All right, now I want to show you how I can induce a malfunction with the same ammo simply by the way I hold the handgun. This is a limp wrist malfunction. Now, a lot of times I show you guys doing it down here and you always say, well, you never shoot a handgun like that. That's not the point. I cannot cause a limp wrist malfunction holding a handgun normally. That's because I've just shot these things for so long that I simply can't have it happen unless I hold it in a strange way that allows the gun not only to flip up, but also to move back freely. Remember, when the gun cycles, the slide moves to the rear quickly, and it needs something to act upon. Either your hand has to hold it steady so the slide can recoil back and then chamber the next round. And a lot of the problem is the fact that the Glock actually has a polymer frame. It doesn't have much mass to it, so if you don't hold the handgun firmly, it doesn't have much to act on, and that causes the slide to short stroke. It doesn't make a full cycle, and it causes the malfunction. Now let me show you how the handgun can malfunction. I'm going to try to hold it up a little bit normally. But watch what's going to happen. I'm going to allow the handgun both to flip up and move backward as it recoils. Now it shouldn't fire the next round. It didn't fire, it didn't chamber. It's short stroked. Pop the spent casing out, put a fresh one in, and I can do it again. That time you got a stovepipe. Now what limp wristing can't cause is a failure to close on a round, which we did see with this NibX Glock 19. The handgun seems to be working better because it is breaking in. It is related to the finish on the handgun. Clear the malfunction, and again, limp wrist. Shouldn't fire the next round. Well, actually it will. It kicked that one out. I'm holding it too firmly. It didn't fire at that time. I'll kick out the casing. So that's a limp wrist malfunction. Now to show you that the gun works, again, I'll fire it normally. I'll even fire it one-handed. Locks open just fine. So that is a limp wrist malfunction. Let me show you the same limp wrist test with other handguns that aren't polymer framed. Now I have the Sig Sauer P226. This handgun has an aluminum frame. This handgun weighs considerably more than a Glock 19, as does the lower receiver, which is the mass that we're concerned with that causes the limp wrist malfunctions to occur if the mass is too low. Now first I'll fire a couple rounds to show that the handgun works normally. Now I'm going to attempt to limp wrist it just like I did the G19. Notice the handgun's flipping up and coming back. It functions just fine. Now why does this handgun function when the Glock 19 doesn't? Again, it's because of the mass of the frame. The handgun is able to work because it's able to move quickly to the rear and not overcome the mass of the frame. Let's show you the same test with a steel-framed handgun. This is a steel-framed handgun. This is a CZ75. Now the frame of this handgun is considerably heavier than the Glock 19. It's even heavier than the Sig Sauer P226. Again, I'll show you that the handgun works. It slipped out of my fingers so the gun didn't malfunction. I'll show you the handgun works. And now I'll attempt to hold it just like I held the G19 and the P226. Now watch, the handgun will come back and it'll also flip up. No limp wrist malfunctions. So the question then becomes, why would you carry a G19 if it malfunctions depending on the way that you hold it? It boils down to training. And again, I cannot cause a G19 to malfunction unless I'm purposely trying to induce that malfunction. But it is a concern if you're looking to buy a self-defense handgun. There might be a situation that arises where you're injured, you're hurt, you don't get a good grip on the handgun when you present from the holster, and you might not be able to hold onto that pistol properly for that first shot. And yes, you can induce a malfunction. So it's something to be aware of, but it's not a problem that in my personal life I've ever had happen to me, no matter how many times I fired a Glock 17 or 19. Now, I don't have the problems with the 40 caliber or the 45 caliber Glocks. I can cause them to malfunction, limp wristing them, but not nearly as often as I can with a 9mm Glock. And a 45 ACP Glock, for example, I might be able to get 1 or 2 limp wrist malfunctions out of a magazine, trying as hard as I can. So it definitely is a phenomenon that happens mostly with 9mm Glock pistols. One of the guys that came out with this today brought along an XDM 3.8. The XDM also has a polymer frame, but in my experience, the XDs don't have the same problem with limp wristing that the Glock 19 or the Glock 17 does. Let me fire off a couple of rounds here and show you that the gun works first, and then I'll try to induce a limp wrist malfunction. All right. I did get one. Now this is the 3.8. The full-size XDM, I have a little harder time causing it, but then again, I couldn't do it every round, which I can do with the G19. All right, but it didn't lock open. So it does have the problem, but it's not nearly as pronounced as the G19 or the G17, and it's more like a G21 or a G23 or something like that, which also will mostly fire okay, but occasionally I can induce a limp wrist malfunction. One of the comments I had seen on the Nibex Glock 19 video were comments related around how I was holding the handgun or how Joe was holding the handgun. Some commenters said, well, he was shooting in the isosceles, he should have been shooting in the weaver, he was shooting the weaver, he should have been in the isosceles. And I don't buy that argument. A defensive handgun should be able to be fired from any number of positions you can think of, one-handed, two-handed, limp-wristed, whatever. You should not be able to cause a malfunction with that handgun, including Glocks. Now, I know a lot of the Glock guys aren't going to agree with that. They'll say, well, they'll make excuses for their handguns like, well, it's your fault, it's not the gun's fault. If the gun malfunctions because of the way you're holding it, it's not your fault, it is the gun's fault. What you need to make sure of is that you can shoot your gun from any number of positions with your carry ammo and make sure it functions properly. And for me, the Glock 19 and the Glock 17 do that. As an example, this is a Glock 17. It has the fail zero finish on it, just standard 115 grain ball ammo in it. I should be able to shoot this handgun one-handed. I should be able to shoot it with just 2 fingers. It should work just fine. I should be able to shoot it upside down with 2 fingers upside down. The gun should work no matter what I do to it. It doesn't matter. If I draw the gun from the ground, I don't get a good grip on it, I'm holding it like this, I have a very low grip on the handgun, it should still work. It doesn't matter, for me anyway, with the Glock series of pistols, but that isn't the case for everybody. So what you need to do is make sure that your gun and your carry ammo work properly for you, no matter how you hold that handgun. Okay guys, I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you guys have a problem with a handgun like a G19 or a G17, if you're having limp wrist malfunctions, first of all, don't give up. Train, get plenty of ammo, go out even at today's prices, I know, but practice with the handgun. Most people that have those malfunctions in the beginning can overcome them, and it becomes just as difficult for them to induce those malfunctions as it is for me. If the Glock doesn't work for you, as much as I love my Glock pistols, and again I carry a G19, if it doesn't work for you, get a different handgun. It doesn't matter if you have 1 limp wrist malfunction every 1,000 rounds. That's 1 limp wrist malfunction too many. Get an aluminum frame or a steel framed handgun or even an XD, or change calibers, go up, go 40 or 45. Hopefully that will correct your problem. If you guys have any questions about what you saw in the video this afternoon, you can always ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/militaryarms. As always, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for the subs, and we'll talk to you guys soon.